what I will be talking about today is how we can use generative AI in finance and most importantly in finance reporting and how it's just not about automating all the different reports. I mean, by whenever we are talking about generative AI or AI, it's not about just automating different tasks which are done manually. That's a part of it. It's more of like aiding all the manual tasks which are available. But I will be walking through showing two different use cases where generative AI will be very, very useful. I'll be talking about what is generative AI and how it can be proactively used in finance and not only for reporting, but making sure we are able to capture the anomalous activities or able to live up to the changing environment, the changing risk patterns very, very effectively. So just let me move it. All right. So first is what is generative AI and how is this different? So generative AI is a subset of artificial intelligence that allows machines to create new content such as images, text, sounds, and even videos. But let's explore what sets it apart. So generative AI, as I said, is a subset of artificial intelligence algorithm that are designed to generate new content. So when we talk about the term generative, we mean that this algorithm produce something entirely new rather than simply analyzing or classifying existing data. Now you might wonder why is this significant? Well, most AI algorithms we are familiar with are centered around tasks like classification or clustering. This task mimic human decision-making process, and they are essential for many applications. However, they don't capture one of the most unique human ability, which is to create something new. Now, human beings possess this incredible talent of creating this new content, whether it's writing literature, painting, composing music, or generating innovative ideas. Now, until recently, it was very, very challenging to replicate this human capability through algorithms. But back in 2014, when GAN came out, something transformative happened. Now, this advent of generative adversarial networks marked the beginning of a new era in AI. So GANs and other generative algorithms allowed AI practitioners to develop systems that could create entirely new content. This breakthrough sparked immense interest and found applications in academia and also various industries. So now let's discuss what is its application within finance. Now we are moving from basic automation to a more intelligent and predictive approach to reporting. Let's delve into how this paradigm shift is happening. We are transitioning from the old way of presenting data, where we mainly focused on automation, to a more intelligent and predictive approach enabled by generative AI. Instead of merely presenting data, our focus is now on conducting more in-depth analysis that can foresee trends, patterns, and even potential anomalies. Now, this shift is really huge because it takes us beyond the routine reporting. We are entering the realm of data-driven intelligence, where our reports are more proactive and insightful. Now, what are the roles of the large language models, which are the backbone of generative AI? One of the key players in the transformation are the LLMs, like the so many ones we're seeing today, like GPT-3, like Llama, etc. These LLMs can synthesize vast data sets, allowing us to generate or detect very unseen trends which were not being captured before. They are not about just presenting numbers, they can also highlight anomalies, unusual patterns, and even potential fraud in real time. Now, this real time analysis is super crucial in this fast paced financial world. In our industry, timely insights can make the difference between a huge amount of profit and loss in dollar amounts. So LLMs can empower us with the ability to react swiftly with any kind of risks that are happening or any kind of changing regulations that are taking place. Now let's discuss what are the benefits of generative AI in this scenario. One is decrease manual work. We can substantially decrease manual effort of data entry and analysis. This will also mean fewer human error, reduced workload, and more time on strategic decision making. So we'll be spending less time on doing mundane analysis and work, and the same resource can be used on more crucial tasks or making better strategies. And enhanced security and compliance. Generative AI is also offering us a safer and more compliant security solutions. Through advanced insights and predictive analysis, we can now protect our financial data and ensure regulatory compliance. This in vital is an era where data security and compliance are paramount. So in conclusion, like integrating Gen AI in financial reporting represents a profound shift in how we are automating. LLMs are playing a pivotal role in this transformation, offering us with real-time insights that are crucial in this fast-paced world. Now, I will discuss two use cases where we see where at this point of time we see very important role of generative AI. One is KYC. Mostly, I will be covering areas where reporting and huge amount of manual efforts are involved. These are, I just picked up two use cases, but these are not the only ones. There are so many use cases where generative AI can be used at this point of time in financial institutions. Now, what is a KYC? I guess everyone is aware of what is a KYC. It's like know your customer is a process by which financial institutions validate the identity of their customers. Now, this validation process involves several key steps. Firstly, we are gathering essential information about the customers like their name, address, date of birth, government ID. These details are fundamental in establishing a customer's identity. Once we get the details, we'll have to cross-check them against multiple databases to ensure their accuracy. This step is super crucial in verifying the customer's identity, preventing fraudulent activities. If we are not able to make sure that the customer we are onboarding do not have any fraudulent information, we can save a lot of risk. Now let's discuss some of the challenges that the financial institutions are facing while conducting this KYC processes. One significant challenge is handling the vast amount of customer data while ensuring the security. The sheer volume can be overwhelming and the inaccuracies can lead to false identification or missed risk. We don't want to do that. Another challenging is keeping up with the frequently changing global and local regulatory requirements. Staying compliant is super important for the financial institution, and any non-compliance can result in severe consequences. So additionally, there is a critical aspect of ensuring that privacy and security of this sensitive customer information is also taken care of. The third one is operational cost. The costs associated with KYC procedures are high, and if these processes can be automated, a huge amount of costs, especially manual verifications, can be reduced. And lastly, managing and reducing the number of false positives in KYC is crucial. False positives occur when legitimate customers are tagged as potential risk, causing unnecessary delays and inconveniences for customers, increasing operational workload and also reputational damage. So going to the next step, next slide. Here we are deep diving into how AI and most importantly, generative AI can help in effective KYC processes. The first is automated data retrievals, more of like streamlining and assessment of client data. And how generative AI can be useful, it can help in refining data extraction from not only structured but unstructured data set, and also creating relevant prompts and questions to obtain missing information from the users. Like, for example, if we require 10 documents, someone going through and figuring out few documents are missing, that process can be automated, and an automated text or email can be sent to the users asking for the other documents, not also like the documents which are already a pre-required one, but maybe from case to case, if some other informations are required, that can also be automated. The part two is document authentication, confirms that whether the document that the clients are providing are genuine or not. We can use generative AI to detect subtle differences. More of like in these cases, the differences are so minute that we need very good algorithms to detect the anomalies. And also, it may happen that the document designs or features which were there 2 or 3 years back doesn't exist anymore. The features, new designs are introduced, or because of regulations the forms are getting changed. So we should also be up to date with the evolution of the document designs and features. And the third point is risk evaluation, so figuring out the threats associated with the clients and their activities, their transaction activities, and their backgrounds and their history. So we can use this advanced generative AI algorithms to enhance risk, to create enhanced risk assessment models and also to simulate different risk scenarios so that we can proactively evolve the risk models. The fourth one is continual activity tracking. It's like once the customers are onboarded, we also have to make sure that they are not doing anything which are risky in terms of they are not doing anything risky in terms of fraud or money laundering, so that we can use generative AI which can help in early detection of this risky behaviors of the customers. And we can use synthetic data for different scenario testing. And the last is optimize client interaction. It's more about helping them with tutorials and assistant, more like chat services that we have, so that it can help with the KYC process so that the customers doesn't face any friction while going through the KYC process. So the second use case I'll be talking about is money laundering. So here also we spoke about it the last time, why KYC processes are super important, because we don't want to onboard certain customers who have money laundering intentions on their mind. Now, what is a money laundering? Money laundering disguises the illegal origin of funds through the financial networks, and their main goal is to convert the illegal funds into the legitimate system, more of like including it and changing like black money into white. What are the three stages of money laundering? We have placement. Here, illicitly obtained funds are introduced into the legitimate financial system, often through complex transactions designed to avoid detection. Now, the second step is layering. Complex financial transactions are used to create confusion and distance the fund from their original source, making it difficult for the authorities to trace back to their origin. And the third one is integration. This is the stage where the money is already into the system and they are reintroduced into the economy as clean, legitimate assets, allowing the fraudsters to now enjoy their funds without arousing any suspicion. Now, I've worked a lot on money laundering, and I worked on too many POCs in this area using AI, and I'll talk about two very distinct areas where generative AI can have very, very significant application. One is identification. So, like using historical data and intelligence to detect suspicious customer activity. Here, um, the activities are so much hidden into the network, and the financial networks is so huge. It is very, very difficult to figure out a greater percentage. And here we see the false positives are super high. So by using generative AI solutions, we see in the diagram below, we have the transaction database. We can have rule-based systems or algorithms or like machine learning algorithms to first detect potential risk, or you can now use this advanced generative AI algorithms to make sure this detection has less false positives, and also this we do not miss out on any alerts. Now, once these alerts are generated, we also have something called visualizing this, more of like visualizing and reporting. Financial organizations are mandated to report this suspicious activities to regulatory bodies of the region or a country. Now, once the analyst sits and writes a report for a particular account, they will have to go through huge amounts of historical data, and they have to go through like millions of transactions done by this account and then create a report. And this takes the analyst a ton of time. So we can also use generative AI here to make sure that the workload of the analysts are reduced. So basically, more of I'm highlighting two areas where generative AI has a very, very direct application to one, to proactively and efficiently detect this suspicious activity which are hidden into the system, and also very efficiently report it to the regulatory bodies. So you can say now just go through this use case. What we're seeing here is that an average report generation takes around 30 minutes time by the analyst, and if they have to go through so many different files, they have to make so many different pivots and excels and create just one report. And if we just consider that 250 alerts are generated per month, one analyst will take over 125 working hours to generate it. And 250, let's say just a regional number, if you're talking about global, this number is not 250. This number is really, really high. So maybe one of the plus point is manual review. I just heard about hallucination in the previous panel. Yes, hallucination is a super one of the very big challenges of generative AI. We are not sure like what the reports that are being generated by the generative AI algorithms. We do not want the reports to contain any information which are not factually incorrect. So definitely when the analyst is creating the reports manually, they are reviewing it manually, but the scope for manual error are always there. We cannot say that there will be 0% chance of manual error. That will be there, but the advantages of processes, it will always have a personal touch, more of like analysts will be writing a good conclusion. They will be using their judgment and experience to better write a report, or more of like going through the past transaction, they will be able to better decide whether they should report this or not report this. But it's a super time consuming process. So there is a scope to develop a solution, not to completely replace the manual review process or to manually creating this report. We have created a solution that will aid the analyst in reducing a huge amount of time. So I'll just quickly go through the solution that we have developed. So what we do is we have textual data, structured data. We have data in tables, months and months of transaction data. First, what we do is content selection, because we do content selection because when we are reporting, we have to make sure that the reports are precise, and reports are not like pages long. It should be precise. So we have to make sure that when you are reporting for one particular account, We don't report anything and everything that is available with us. So the first step is content selection. And it is dynamic, it's a dynamic logical key attribute selection because based on the account, the features that you want to present changes. So first we do the content selection and the selected attributes are passed through an LLM where they generate the template. We generate the template to reduce hallucination. We don't, because let's say, for example, we are reporting that the total dollar amount of money laundered in the last 6 months is $5 million. And if the $5 million value is incorrect, that will be a reputational damage for the organization. So we don't want to do that. So we use this selected attributes to generate the templates, and after that we map the attribute to the values so we can reduce hallucination. We don't want the LLMs to come up with facts which are incorrect. I'm not telling that the LLMs are incapable of doing it, but we have kept the last option of mapping the attributes back to the value because we want to totally eliminate even the chance of presenting an incorrect fact. What we see from a performance standpoint is something that I told about 125 hours now can be reduced back to 1 hour with very, very high accuracy, but I'm not telling it's totally replacing human work. It's used to aid the analyst. Now, the analysts do not have to generate all the reports. The analyst just can go through, like read the reports which are being generated by this algorithm, and then decide whether he or she should report it as suspicious, write down conclusions based on his or her judgment. Now, coming to my last part of the presentation, what are the challenges in integrating? So we have spoken about different solutions. We have spoken about, we've seen that they're actually giving very good accuracies and their capabilities. But what are the challenges? Because we have to, at the end, integrate into the system. So what are the challenges in doing it? Now, first is data security and privacy concern. We have to protect the sensitive financial information. We do not want the PIIs or any sensitive information to go out of the system. The second is accuracy, that is hallucination. The hallucination is a very, very important challenge of LLMs. We have to make sure that we have proper checks in place to make sure that the output that are coming out of this generative AI algorithms are correct, and we should have checks in place that we do not share any incorrect output with the customers. Infrastructure compatibility, we are not again 100% ready to totally integrate all the LLM solution into the system right away. We are like a work in progress, like everyone is trying to figure out how to integrate such big models into the system. And the fourth one is change management. That is because making sure that people accept the new technologies and new regulations are coming into the place. We are having a new model governance coming into the place. And while deploying the models, we make sure that we go through all the stages of model governance, which are coming into the place because of this introduction of generative AI algorithms. Now, lastly, looking into the future, this I took one of the BCG reports. Now, the adoption of AI in financial operations are expected to exhibit a S-curve trend. This means that we are currently at a pivotal point in integration of AI technologies into the financial sector. Generative AI in finance will not only augment existing processes, but will also evolve to transform core operations and enhance forward-looking insights. Now, this transformation is not just about improving what we already do, but it's also somewhat transforming the way we are approaching financial operation. It will improve financial professionals to make more strategic decisions, ultimately improving efficiency and effectiveness in their roles. Of course, there will be challenges to consider. Accuracy issues and data concerns will always be there, but I think financial institutions are proactively addressing them to make sure that they are taking the advantage of the different application that generative AI has to offer. And I think it's high time that people are proactively using it or exploring it to use in their system, more of like using their future operations. Okay, this comes to the end of my presentation. Thank you for inviting me to speak here. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to do.
Yeah, thank you, Debasmita, for the presentation on Gen AI. I don't think I see any questions, but I think just for a final statement, do you happen to have any like advice for people who are young people interested in going in this field of like Gen AI or like tech in general?
Um, I think the advice that I would have is have a very thorough understanding of the fundamentals of what are the fundamental algorithms that is going behind the LLMs, understand what are foundational models. Most importantly, I won't say suddenly jump into reading what is generative AI. Don't suddenly jump into studying about all the big LLMs. Start with the basics, start with statistics, starts with the statistical models have a very good understanding of the statistics, but understand the all the basic algorithms and then get into all the new technologies which are coming in. So basically, in doing so, if your base of like if your base is strong, even going forward when new algorithms are coming in, you would be able to grabs them very, very fast.
Okay. Well, yeah. Um, well, I don't seem to see any other questions, but yeah, thank you for answering the one for like for people who want to know what they should do to get into Gen AI at a young age. And yeah, so thank you so much, Debasmita, for presenting and on your Gen AI presentation. And if you'd like to stay for the rest of the conference, that would be great. But otherwise, yeah, thank you so much for speaking. I think we will have to go to the next speaker, which is